Hello, hello, welcome. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. How was everybody this morning? It's almost the end of the month, lunar month, and Mercury retrograde is almost over. So I hope it really did hit me this time really good, I would say. But hopefully it will be over soon. Well, not hopefully, for sure. Anyways, today we're talking about dirty energy. And I always mention this, I always talk about dirty energy, but I never really explained what it is, how it happens, and how to fix it. Because everybody, I think every one of us, really never met a person who never had dirty energy in them. There's always dirty energy, and it's up to us to clean it, to keep our energy smooth, clean for ourselves. Now, if you think you can live with dirty energy, you can. I mean, people live for years and years. I lived for years with my dirty water, but your life is not going to be as rewarding. It's like living in a swamp instead of living in a clean river. So yeah, you can live with dirty energy, but it would be good if you would find out what it is and how to fix it, and then you can live in a clean energy. Your life would be much better, more fulfilling. Anyways, so let's start to that. Now, I wanted to mention before I will start um, that sometimes you think that you have, like for example, if you think that the dirty energy is not that it's not that important. Yes, it's maybe not as crucial as something else, but it is important because, for example, the pure feminine energy is water energy. Now, you would imagine that if you have a lot of water energy, that's it. You're done. You have the best possible energy for a woman to have, and that's true. But if it's a dirty water, it will not help you anyhow. Actually, water overall, since it's pure feminine energy, it helps you with your um, it helps you with your relationships. But if the water is dirty, it will hurt your relationship even more than you could think and you could imagine. All right, so I also wanted to mention something. Do not confuse dirty energy with weak energy and blocked energy. These are three different um, uh, terms, and let me just explain now. So weak energy is energy you don't have. It's not developed. Like me, for example, I don't have energy of air, so I really don't have. It never will become dirty simply because I don't have enough for it to become dirty. So weak energy is something that you need to develop. Not having a particular energy is bad. Having a weak energy is bad, but it's not as bad as dirty energy. So that's the first one, the weak energy. Like for example, weak water energy could be lack of pleasure, not knowing how to flirt, not being easy with people in the relationship, no creativity. Now, but dirty water is jealousy, complaining, whining, neediness. So it's all like this. Now, blocked energy is comes with some kind of trauma. So, for example, maybe you were brought up in a super religious family, and your parents, or maybe your surrounding, did not allow you to feel anything. So you were brought up to be like ashamed of your feeling, to be ashamed of enjoying life, to be, I don't know whether there is such religion still, but you were brought up not to feel anything and be ashamed of feeling something, even if you do. So for the most part, and now you blocked, basically since childhood you blocked your water energy, because water energy is the energy of pleasure. This is usually the unblocking happens on its own. So it's you don't really need to do anything. If you will live your life and work on your energy, unblocking will come on its own. Blocked energy doesn't happen very often. It's very, very rarely. Like for example, you have a lot of fire energy, and your parents will always tell you, you're not supposed to do nothing. You're not supposed to do any actions. Do not raise your voice. Do not. So they kind of subdue your fire energy, and you basically, it became blocked, but it will open up once you start living and allowing yourself to live. So again, just to recap, weak energy is no presence at all, so it's not developed. It's not like you have it and you never develop it. It doesn't happen like that. If you have the energy, it will develop somehow. It's basically a dominant energy, but weak energy is usually the energy that you don't have. Look at your natal chart. Which energy don't you have? Like me, I don't have air, so for me it's a weak energy. I have to work on it. Now, dirty energy is the opposite of what should be. So it's usually exaggerated energy, exaggerated to the point that it's already not clean. Like if I will take this glass of water and I will wash my fingers in it once, twice, third time. If I'm not doing nothing with the water to clean it, it will become dirty. You see, it's all like overused basically. Now, and the blocked energy is the energy that was blocked through some kind of traumatic experience, usually in childhood. But most of the time, it's very rare. It's not like people say that oh, I have blocked this, blocked that. It doesn't happen that often. And usually it gets opened and unblocked on its own. So do not worry about the blocked energy. Worry about the weak energy and the dirty energy. That's the problem, especially dirty energy. That's why I'm talking to you about this right now, because a lot of people, they think that, oh, I don't need to worry about this. I'm good in this department, but often it is not. They're so used to live with dirty energy that they think that this is normal when it is really not. All right, so let's get to it. What is dirty energy? So there is four elements: fire, air, water, and earth, and we all have some particular dominant energies. How to find out what is your dominant energy? Look at your natal chart. Where is your top 6 in? So this is ascendant, your sun, your moon, Mars, Venus, and Mercury. These are personal planets, and they emphasize what is your dominant energy. Now, if your Pluto stays in water, it doesn't mean that you are energy of water, because Pluto is a social planet, so it does not influence you that much. I mean, it influences, but from far away. It's not really. It does not dictate what you are. So look at where those planets are, and these planets are going to be and will make your dominant energy. So for me, it's water. My ascendant is in water, my sun, moon, Mercury are all in water. So for me, this is a dominant energy. Now, people could have 2 dominant energies. Usually it's 1 or 2. It's never 3. You can't really have 3 dominant energies. And so for the most part, we'll live with that dominant energy. Dominant energy shows us, basically creates the path for us in life. Like me, for example, I live with my emotions. I'm very empathetic. I listen to people. I'm everything in life comes to me with emotions. It's the good emotions, bad emotions. I really feel very much. So this is, if my dominant energy would be energy of fire, everything in my life would be going through actions, through some kind of activity on my path. So like not everything right now goes through activity, because I'm dominantly water. So water doesn't really need to act, more like experiencing. So let's get to it. So the dirty fire is usually looks like how you would find out whether it's dirty or not. So fire on its own is basically a masculine energy, masculine energy, and it's very active energy, very actions oriented. So dirty fire, if you have this energy is your dominant, this is how it will look when it's dirty. So dirty fire is usually very aggressive. The person becomes aggressive for reason and no reasons. Now, with that comes the aggressive language, aggressive behavior towards close ones, usually towards everybody. So you're basically snapping at everybody. You don't know why. Like everybody irritates you, and you answer back, and you just don't understand why. Why little things trigger you so much that you have to fight everybody and everything. This is dirty fire. Now, what else comes with this? Threats. When the person is threatening everybody, you couldn't, like, you couldn't live peacefully. Like, you need to almost make enemies. You could not sleep. Fire energy overall is hard to kind of to have a good good sleep, but especially when it's dirty, it's really, a person becomes very restless, like almost like a walking zombie. Also, I put over here, seeing enemies in everybody. It's like, it's not like a dirty water when you're suspicious of everybody. Here you are seriously just want to fight every single one. It's like, if you would live in the 19th century, you would be on a duel every single day. Then also chaotic behavior. So fire people are chaotic on their own, but when it's dirty fire, you basically, you could not control yourself. You're here, there, you're trying to speak. It's very very obvious, And I knew a few men who were was in dirty fire energy. It's unbelievable, You can't, like, my mind could not operate as fast as their actions and conversations. I mean, it's just they're all over the place, and I understand that it's not comfortable for them, but they could not control themselves. And usually, because of this lack of sleep, because of this chaotic behavior, usually a dirty fire start taking substances, start taking something to avoid the reality, to avoid yourself, because you just couldn't handle. Like, I had this acquaintance. She would just basically drink herself to sleep every single night because she couldn't fall asleep. She was very dirty fire. Why was she drink herself to sleep? Because she was from a religious family and she couldn't really fight or do any kind of aggressive actions towards others. So she basically was suppressing those feelings inside, and but it never came out anyhow. So this is dirty fire. Now, what else? Stalking could be also here, but it's not a consistent stalking. So it could be aggressive stalking, but only until this person will find some kind of other something else to do, something interesting to follow. So stalking for dirty fire is temporarily, but it could be really aggressive. Could be really damaging. Like, they really could do some kind of stupid actions while they're obsessed with somebody. Obsession is not really dirty energy thing, but doing aggressive actions is. So if they believe that somebody harmed them, they could really get this person hurt. So this is dirty fire. See whether, if you have dominant fire energy, see whether it's relevant to you. I know a lot of people with dominant energy of fire, and I will tell you, sometimes I wouldn't even want to be around them. And I see that they regret what they say. I see that they regret their actions. But they just could not control themselves. And really, I am not going to be staying around and listening to that, or being that the person who has to tolerate, even though I understand they don't mean it, I understand, but this is not really my place. And that's why they lose a lot of people because of this, because of their crazy aggression, of their threats. Like, they like a dog who barks nonstop, bites, barks, and all that dog wants is just to be loved. So this is dirty fire. Now let's get to dirty air. Now, air is also masculine energy, but it's different. It's very kind of focused on expansion, on knowledge, on something new. So dirty air usually uh, comes off as arrogance, but not arrogance like I'm better than, well, no, arrogance when it comes to some kind of knowledge, some kind of experiences. Like, they basically believe that if you do not think like me, you're just too primitive, like that. So then absolute disregard for others. Now, energy of air in itself is not very attached, but when it's dirty air, basically they really don't care. Like, they become too immune and almost cruel towards people who surround them. Like, they could be really really mean to people around them, mean by ignoring them, mean by not even thinking. It's like they protect themselves from avoiding others, pretending that they don't need others, which for the most part, they don't really need anybody. The energy of air is like this, but still, we all have people who mean something to us. Our immediate families, parents, brothers, sisters. Significant others, our children. You could not really avoid them. You could not. You could not think that you're better just because they have feelings towards you and you don't. So like that. Then also it comes off, dirty air comes off in absolute disregard for the reality. These people sometimes they believe that their higher purpose is something, and they couldn't believe that they need to pay bills. Like this, like they could like they are absolutely not in touch with reality. Energy of air overall is not in touch with reality, but when it's dirty air, it's like they become almost I wouldn't say upset, but almost like offended that they need to tolerate this kind of existence, like something like that. Now, uh, there, and I put over here, they pretend that if they do not accept something, it doesn't exist, but it is really, but the life does exist, and they do live here, and they need to eat, and they need to clothe themselves. So whether you want it or not, at one point you will have to find some kind of way to attach yourself to the world again. Now, also, I put over here, dirty air is absolute disregard for any kind of attachments. I guess I mentioned that with the disregard for others. So they almost ridicule attachments and they try to avoid it. So overall, air people are not easy to get attached to others, to build relationship. But when it's dirty air, it's like they avoid it, like I wouldn't say they're almost scared, but they almost despise attachments. And like they praise themselves on not needing anything. Also, dirty air becomes so people in dirty air becomes sometimes this kind of, I wouldn't say bums, but people who are, I wouldn't say homeless, like the ones that are backpacking throughout, like every day new country, they sleep where they sleep, they eat whatever they find to eat. Like traveling is good, but there must be some kind of limitations and some kind of standards. And so usually when you are like in a dirty air, you basically want to disregard everything, and you don't depend on anybody. Like the other day I was on Facebook and I was reading this post. I'm in some groups, traveling groups, and so there was this couple, and just by looking at their pictures, I already knew there was energy of air. But they basically were like, we don't have money, so we need to crash in somebody's place. A couple, yeah, and they grown up couple. It's not like some kind of young teenagers, but they grown up. So they were looking for people who would allow them to stay for a few days here, for a few days there. Like they just have this absolute belief that everybody should cater to them, but yet they are not responsible for anything. And like this absolute. I wouldn't say ignorance, arrogance. Like arrogance that they're the smartest, their needs are the most important, and everybody else is just means to meet their needs, kind of like that. So, anyways, this is dirty air. Dirty air is a dangerous kind of is a dangerous energy to have, because when dirty fire, you see that something is off. You're aggressive at people. You see people reacting, so you know that something is off. With dirty air, you never know when it's really that dirty until it's too late. So, for example, you are like, everybody's like, oh my god, you're traveling so much, that's so good, you're not attached to nothing, you sleep on the couches here and there with you when you come back with your friends or whatever, I don't know. And it seems like it's very admiring, but at one point that person is just basically becomes a burden to themselves and to everybody around, and like you could not be that detached from the reality. Like I even knew here somebody, a friend of my client. So I knew her a little bit, but she never really was my client to know her. But I think she was in the dirty energy of air, because she would not settle nowhere. She didn't even have her own place. She would stay with friends a couple of weeks with one, couple of weeks with another. Then she would go travel somewhere. And like this on and on. She never had really a job. She would work for a couple of weeks in one place, couple of weeks in another place. The same with the relationship, and you would say like, okay, so this is fun, she's just having fun in life. Yes, it is, but there must be some kind of plan at one point. So anyways, this is but again, I didn't know her too close, so I don't know really. Maybe it works for now. So this is dirty air. Now dirty earth. Earth is the feminine energy, but and it's very stable energy, but earth could be dirty as well. So how does it look, dirty earth? Now, earth is about stability. You see, so when an energy is dirty, it's exaggerated something, exaggerated to the point that it's bad. You see, so like dirty fire is about actions, ambitions. So it becomes aggression and kind of in actions and thoughts. Air is about it's about freedom, about kind of knowledge. But when it becomes an obsession that you are so free that you don't want to pay your electric bill, this is a little too much. Now earth is about security, about grounding. So exaggerated part of that would be hoarding. This is it happens often, especially people who are older, who are so obsessed with having this, like possessing stuff, of collecting stuff, that they just basically hoard anything that they need and don't need. They just want to keep, just so it provides them that security. Then snobbishness comes with that. Now if energy of air is arrogant because they believe that others are not as developed as they are. Now earth energy could become snobbish because they believe that nobody is as secure, as accomplished, as wealthy as they are. Snobbishness is really dirty energy, and I saw it many times, especially in men, energy of earth. What else? Obsession with control, when it's either their way or no other way. So they're very like, usually energy of earth have a lot of kids, and they're really very controlling when it comes to their kids, to their partners. Like they've really not, well, everybody, whoever they work with, whoever, like for everybody. So what else? No desire to change. So they don't want to change anything. They don't even accept of a suggestion of changing something. So they usually go to eat to the same places. So they basically do the same thing. It's like Groundhog Day every day for, I don't know, for many, many years. So the same thing again and again. It's very hard for them. So no acceptance of anybody's opinion but their own. It's very hard to live with those people. It's like they just don't, no matter how many times you will tell them, no matter how many how often you will prove your point, they still will not take it, just out of stubbornness. And stubbornness is another one. So they basically, you can tell them that this is a glass of water, and they will tell, no, this is a glass of milk, and they would just fight you for that this is a glass of milk. I don't know, it's like this is the dirty earth. And if you think, oh, I can change this man, or I can change this somebody, you will not. Unless they will do something, they will not. It hurts them too. Everybody, it hurts. Dirty energy hurts every so dirty fire hurts people with dirty fire. Dirty air hurts people with the energy of air. And dirty earth hurts their earthy people. At one point, they understand that they're sitting with all this junk around them and no people around them, because nobody can tolerate their grumpiness and their stubbornness and control. And this is just it. Now, what else could be dirty earth? Greed, because they need to collect everything. They want to have everything. So greed is a dirty earth as well. Also, stalking could be, but this is an obsessive stalking. So if energy of fire would stalk their partners just because they're angry right now and they want to do some kind of damage, right? Energy of earth, dirty energy of earth, could stalk a person for years, and you would never even know. They would stalk, they would look, they will try to not hurt, but kind of to bother you again and again until, and it would be for years and years, for decades sometimes. So this is dirty earth. Dirty earth is, you would think that it's not that bad, but it is as bad as others, because these people could end up all by themselves with all their stuff, and basically just hurting and not understanding why nobody likes them like that. I didn't know too many people with dirty energy of earth. I knew men with dirty energy of earth, and I'll tell you why later on. But yeah, but this it's not an easy people to socialize. They believe that their truth is the only truth. They don't want to negotiate. They don't want to change anything. So it's either you play by their rules or you're just out of their life. And yeah, I mean, at the end, they just by themselves sitting in their huge big house and couldn't understand why nobody is around. I mean, usually they shelter some kind of weaklings just to control them. All right, so and the next one, the last one, is dirty water. Welcome to my world. So dirty water is probably the most. It's like dirty fire. Everybody sees when the fire is dirty. Everybody sees it. Everybody sees when the water is dirty. So what it is? Water is all about emotions, about the pleasure. So dirty water is when those emotions get out of control. Now, so dirty water is jealousy, neediness, dependence. It's absolute, like always complaining, whining. Like it's nothing is ever good. Absolute pessimism. Like nothing makes them happy. Like fears of what might happen, what they could not control anything. So this feeling of kind of being lost, no sense of direction. This is all dirty water. Now, why it becomes so because water is all about emotions. Sometimes when you get too deep into those emotions start you see, if you live only with emotions, not with actions, not with mind, the energy of air, not with actions, the energy of fire, not even grounding yourself, energy of earth, at one point those emotions will drag you to some kind of corners where they will become dangerous. And so this is where it comes, this loss of direction, where you're not grounded, you don't do any kind of actions, you hope in on others. Now then you're afraid to lose those others. So here's jealousy, neediness comes, dependence, because you're not grounded enough, you're not strong enough in yourself to take control of your life. You're hoping that others will, and then the fear of losing those others comes out, and you don't know what to do with that. So this is dirty water. You can see dirty water. People usually crying all the time, write this kind of huge paragraphs of comments. They couldn't stop talking about their fears, worries, carry from Sex and the City, energy of dirty energy of water. Always like, I wouldn't say stalking, but kind of playing the victim. Trying to be with the person, trying to please them just so they wouldn't leave you. Like this, you can see dirty energy of water. You can see just like dirty energy of fire. You can see it also very distinct. So this is that. Now, why does it happen? Where does the dirty energy comes? I mean, we're all born with the clean energy. What is happening? So it could happen on occasion, right? Like I put over here. So my dominant energy is energy of water. So let's imagine I fell in love, and now I'm all with that guy every single day. We're together, we're spending time together. I'm so it's all about me and him. I completely forgot about all my actions, about about my life, about my friends. I'm all in that man, and at one point I'll become very needy of him because he's the only source of my happiness. You see, so my energy of water will become dirty, because it's too much. Like I'm depending on that energy for way too much. Like there is no balance. Now, or for example, if my dominant energy would be energy of earth, And I would be, again, fall in love with the guy. I'm spending time with him. He's supporting me. He's paying for everything. That man is a source of security for me. Now, if suddenly, so he becomes my security, there is nothing else in my life but him and the security that he provides. Now, my energy of earth will become dirty because I will try to control him. I will try to control the outcome of our kind of being together, of meeting. I would become possessive and stubborn. I would not listen to anything. I would want him to do as I want him to act, just because I want to control him. So this would be energy of earth. You see, this is or energy of fire. The same thing. I fall in love with the guy, and my dominant energy is energy of fire. So I'm doing everything for this relationship. I'm like constantly acting, and suddenly that person starts pulling away from me, and I don't understand why. So I'm becoming aggressive towards him. Or let's imagine energy of air. Again, my dominant energy is energy of air. I'm falling in love with the guy, and so I want him to be on the same page as I am, but he's not. So to protect myself, I'm pulling away. My energy becomes dirty. Now that could happen temporarily. So your energy can become dirty for just like for a little bit. Like when I said about energy of water, I will get too involved with the guy and I'm too dissolved in him, my energy will get dirty. But then if I will take a break, separate from him for a few days, and I will focus on myself, on my life, on everything, my energy will get clean because I wouldn't be having this kind of obsession with him. You see, I would focus on actions in my life. I would focus on grounding. So basically, we'll return back to my life and kind of refocus. I will focus on knowledge, and that's energy of air. And I will kind of put him a little bit on the back burner and relax my energy of water. You see, so that could happen. That could happen at any stage of our lives. It could happen for a few days, for a few weeks, for a few months. The problem is when your dominant energy is constantly dirty. That's the problem. So the second reason why, so this is the first. The second reason it happens when with age. So with age, our energies become weak usually, and because it becomes a little weaker, it starts becoming dirty. The dominant energy. I mean, why? Because we're so used to run on it. Now we don't have enough of it, so it basically all works and becomes dirty faster than it was. Usually it becomes dirty, then cleans itself, dirty, then cleans itself. But when we're older, it doesn't clean itself as fast and becomes very dirty very fast. If you see older people, they usually have a lot of worries. They're stubborn, they're pessimistic, sometimes because the health declines. So it's understandable. So you need to make sure that you work on your energy, whatever age you are. All right. Then also, I already mentioned this. The only energy that becomes dirty is the one that you have in abundance. My air will never get dirty. I simply don't have it. Another reason why energy could become dirty if it's not natural for you. So, for example, I didn't see too many in my life. I have never really seen too many men who would have dirty energy of air or dirty energy of fire. But almost every man whose dominant energy is either water or earth is dirty. Always, it's always dirty. Why? Because earth and water are not natural for a man to have. You see. So no matter how clean they would try to keep it, it still would always be dirty because it's not natural for a man to be super emotional or to be super grounded. Men want to achieve things. So by you sitting and hoarding things, you are not really achieving nothing. You are just wasting your time. The same with women. I know women who had dirty earth and dirty water. I wouldn't lie. I had dirty water for some time. But most of the women that I met with dirty energy were the energy of air or energy of fire. And again, for the same reason, it's unnatural for women to have this kind of dominant energies. But they're born with them, so it's not like something they should be ashamed of. Obviously not. But for a feminine body, for female body, it's unnatural to have dominant energy of air or fire. So what happens? Like for example, if a girl has a lot of energy of fire and she wants to to do actions. She's very she wants to be here, there. She's very aggressive kind of approach in life. At one point, it will become damaging to her and damaging to her relationship, because this is not she's not supposed to be in that. So this is another reason. It's not the dominant energy is not natural for your body, that you were born in. um okay. What else? The reason that it could happen, the main reason that it happens is because you're only operating on one energy. Remember, we have four energy for a reason. If you are operating only on one energy, eventually it will become dirty. It just has nothing to do. You see, if I have this water and eventually I would add a little air, so it would clean up a little bit, move it around. I would add some fire, so it will clean up it too. Maybe run it through some stones, so it will clean up. You see, if I will add other energies, this water will be clean. But if I will leave it on its own, it will never move. It will become dirty, whether you want it or not. So you need to develop all four energies. The reason why your dominant energy becomes dirty is because you're only working on it. That's it. You're not developing other three energies. That's why I work so hard to develop all my energies. I do not really try to touch my energy of water at all. It's automatically turns on by itself, in kind of when it's needed. But I try to work on other energies, especially energy of air, the one that I'm missing. You see, if um, and the energy of fire, obviously, as well, because they need to balance my energy of water. So this is one of the most important reasons energy becomes dirty, because you're operating only on that particular energy and you do not develop the other three or the other two or whatever. And this is the biggest reason. Okay. So, and the next one is, sometimes we have planets that are blocking our energy. So, for example, if I have like I will tell you, it's actually reality. My Neptune is squaring my moon. So Neptune is in the funny thing is that Neptune is my moon is in Pisces. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, and it's blocking the moon in the house where it's not blocking, it's squaring in the house where that it ruled. So I'm more emotional, more sensitive than maybe somebody else. More sensitive, not more emotional, but more sensitive. So you see, my water could be damaged. Well, it could be, but it's already a little dirty. Could get really dirty just by those placement that stays there. For example, you have a Mars that stays in, let's say, in Aries, and there you have Saturn also next to it. So you basically conjunct Mars and Saturn. There you go. You have basically a dirty fire, because Saturn is the planet of restrictions, and Mars is action. So you will have a cowardice kind of fire, fire that's afraid to act or constantly has obstacles to act, so this is there it is. And so your fire will be dirty whether you want it or not. You just need to know how to navigate, and if you have it since birth, you will learn how to do it. All right, so this is it. I hope it makes sense. Now let's get to how to fix it, right? Because we do need to fix it. We can't live with the dirty energy for all the time for too long. As I said, you can. There's no such thing as, okay, if I will not clean my energy, something will happen. Nothing will happen. You will be absolutely fine. Well, you will not be absolutely fine, but you will be able to live. It just, what would be the level of your life? Will you enjoy your life? Will you enjoy the relationship with others? Will you have a lot of friends and kind of family and like loving kind of relationship, or will you have not so good relationship? So anyways, let's get to it, how to fix it. So you need to, first of all, you need to find out whether you have any dirty energy. Now, how do you know whether you have dirty energy? You're not satisfied with your life. This is how, so if you look around and you don't have a decent relationship with anybody, you hate your parents, you hate your siblings, you could not build a relationship with men leave you, or you leave men or something. So obviously, like, if you don't have the job that you like, if your money doesn't come easy to you, if you have health issues, I mean, something is off. Somewhere there is an energetic disbalance, and you need to fix it. You need to find out where it is, and you're going to do it. So you will make yourself a natal chart, and you will look where the dominant planets are, where the major six planets are, six placements. So it's your ascendant. It's not a planet, but you would need to find ascendant. That you need the time of birth for that, and then Sun, Moon, Venus, Mars, and Mercury. You will see what is the uh, dominant energy for you. So most of them are in Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This is fire. Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. This is Earth. Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. This is water. And Capricorn, Sagittarius. No, wait. Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. This is air. So find out where you're dominant. What's your dominant energy? And then Mercury also. And observe yourself. So I already told you how any kind of energy will look when it's dirty. So see, is it dirty or is it not? If you have the dominant fire, are you often angry? Are you often kind of like barking at others? Does it happen like constantly or occasionally? Or if you have a lot of energy of water, are you often feeling defeated? Like, do you feel like nobody loves you, and you just want to, and you're scared of leaving or something like that? So see, observe yourself. Then probably you will do. Probably you do have, and the second, so this is when you will find out. Once you will find out, you will see, you will start fixing it little by little, because you already know what it is. The problem with people living in dirty energy, they don't believe the energy is dirty. You see, I never really believed that my water was dirty until I realized how it's hurting my life. How emotional I am, how, any little thing gets me to cry, how I get upset with people and I just basically don't talk to them no more. Like, it's not helping me. So once you realize that you have dirty energy, then it will be much easier for you to fix it. Now, I want to tell you that it does take time. Energy moves slow. So just like it didn't become dirty overnight, it will not become clean overnight. You need to, so what you need to do, you need to work on your overall energy, and you need to develop other energies. You could not, there is no way you will clean your water if your other energies are not working. You need to learn how to do that. For example, when I'm staying in one place for too long and I'm not really doing anything extra, not going to, like if I stay at home, like I work from home. So if I stay at home for too long, I know, like I already, it start getting to me, like I need change of scenery. I take Uber and I go somewhere, I sit, I see other people, or I meet with friends. So I need some kind of change of scenery. I know that. You see, I add air to my life so my water can clean up a little bit. And the fire, I do some kind of actions. I go somewhere. I meet with somebody, I call somebody. I meet new people, or so I do some kind of actions to clean that water. Or earth, the same. I would maybe ground myself, maybe make myself some kind of plans, tell myself that I'm safe. So you need to work on other energies. You need to implement other energies and operate on them for a little bit, so your dominant energy can clean itself. Or for example, if your fire is absolutely dirty, that's why people masculine, it's always advised to masculine men and women to meditate. Why? Because fire is all about actions, all about doing something, speaking, aggression, something like that. And when you are in meditation, this is the only probably time, and you sleep, if you can sleep, when you are not talking, when you are not when you are just focusing on yourself and you're breathing, and it helps you basically bringing in energy of earth and energy of water to allow your energy of fire to clean up a little bit. You see, or energy of air. If you found out, I think energy of air is the hardest to pinpoint, and the people energy of air don't believe that they have dirty energy of air until it's too late. They believe that they know everything. But let's imagine you have dirty energy of air. How to clean it? You need to focus on other three. You need to start focusing on what you feel, not what you know, but what you feel. How do you feel? You need to start enjoying everything, not just run around from one corner of the planet to another just because you're bored, just because you don't know what to do with yourself. You need to start feeling, you need to start listening to yourself. Then you need to ground yourself, stay in one place for maybe a little bit, or maybe stay with one person for a little bit, just to ground yourself. Then you need to work on energy of fire instead of just basically just daydreaming and pretending you know everything. Maybe start doing some kind of actions. Maybe you can get a job for once or something. So you're doing actions towards something. This will clean up your energy of air. Or if you have dirty energy of earth, how to clean up that? Again, you need to develop the other three. So you would need to work on actions. That's your fire. You would need to get out of your cave, no matter how fancy it is, and start doing something. Start meeting people. Start talking to somebody. Maybe get yourself a new project, or I don't know, go shopping. Do something that would be an action. And then start thinking outside your perfect golden box. Add energy of air. Start thinking, maybe if I will try to do this, then this would be a little better. Or maybe if I would, maybe if we start reading, or I don't know, so something like this. Add energy of air to you. Especially this is the opposite energy. Meet new people, talk on subjects that you never discussed. Try something new, some new activity that you never even thought you are capable of. And then develop energy of water. Energy of water is basically um, feelings, flirting, pleasure. Start enjoying all that all that stuff that you hoarded for so many years. Start observing yourself. Start feeling, start finally kind of not thinking about what you have, but about how you feel about all this. Stuff like that. This would really allow that earth to clean up. So this is that's how you clean up your dominant energy. There is no other way. Trust me, I tried. There is no other way. No matter how much, if my energy of water is dirty, no matter how long and how much I clean it, it never gets cleaned with the same energy. You need to clean it with different energies. And ideally would be if you would add all the energies. So we are supposed to operate on 4 energies every single day. Just like 4 roles, 4 energies, the same thing. 4 roles is basically 4 different energies. So energy, the woman is energy of air. Wife is energy of water. Mother is energy of fire, and nurture is energy of earth. Just the same thing, you need to involve all 4 energies into your daily life. This way every energy will stay clean. Again, energy gets dirty because it's the only one working in your life. Like, it could not be running on emotions only. At one point I need to turn on something else. I need to, if I would only, like, if I will pour this water right now on the table, at one point it will just dry and evaporate. There won't be nothing. But if it has the walls, energy of earth, it protects the water. You see, if I will get a little air, the water will stay fresh for a long time. If I would get fire, it will even purify it. So you see, it helps. You need to understand this. You could not allow only one energy to dominate your life. And most of the people, when they are older, this is what happens to them. There is only one energy that dominates their life, and they just basically go with it. And this is not right. All right, that's it. I hope it was useful. Let me know if you have questions. Let me sum it up really fast. And you see, I thought it would be like half an hour, but it's already almost an hour. All right, so let me sum it up. So dirty energy is, I speak about it often, and you probably heard me many times. Maybe you will question it. So I hope I made it clear this time in this video. Do not confuse dirty energy with weak energy and blocked energy. It's not the same. Dirty energy happens all the time. Like, I don't think there is a person who never had dirty energy in their life. There's just no such thing. When your energy drops, it becomes dirty. For example, you're sick, and your energy is already, you're operating on one energy, and now you get sick, you become weaker, so you weaken the dominant energy and it becomes dirty. It's just how it is. This full glass will take longer to get dirty than this amount of water. So that's just logical. It happens all the time. You just need to make sure to catch it and involve other energies to clean. So it happens all the time. Now blocked energy happens very rarely, very rarely. You need to be really in such an extreme situation for it to get blocked, and it will naturally open up. Doesn't happen very often, very rarely, honestly. I don't know. Like, I even had a couple acquaintances who were brought up in a very weird kind of circumstances, and they were able to overcome it. So we do not focus on blocked energy. Blocked energy doesn't happen often. Weak energy, though, happens all the time. If you don't have a dominant energy, you never worked on if you don't have a particular energy and you never work on developing it, that would be your weak spot, your weak energy. Again, weak energy doesn't damage you as much as dirty energy, because dirty energy, you just don't see it, you don't believe that it's bad, you feel like, okay, and then it's just normal, it just has to be like that. All right, so that's for the energies. So do not confuse them. Then just to sum it up, so dirty fire is usually aggression, aggressive actions, aggressive words, aggressive behavior, threats, could hurt somebody, could hurt themselves. They usually take substances to avoid themselves. The behavior is very chaotic, stalking, but temporarily, kind of like that. So very loud, like a ball of fire, very loud, very, very crazy, very just wants to hurt somebody and themselves. I had a couple clients, energy of fire, they had dirty fire. I mean, really, it takes a lot to tolerate those people, and I understand they don't mean it, but I'm not there to sit and wait for them to realize it. All right, so dirty air is usually arrogance, the absolute disregard for others, for any kind of attachments, for the material world. They become almost like somewhat alien, and they like it. They praise themselves on that, but in fact, they're just trying to protect themselves. That's all. So that's not really that good. The arrogance is here. Then dirty earth is basically hoarding, trying to control everybody and everything. Greediness, stalking, like for years and years, stubbornness, no desire to change, not listen to anybody. So basically, my way or no other way. And dirty water is overly like dirty emotions, jealousy, neediness, obsession with somebody, dependence, complaining, no sense of direction. So this it happens, could happen sometimes, but and could be fixed if you will catch it and focus on other energies. With age, it usually happens because, again, the energy drops, it becomes weaker, and so since it becomes weaker, it gets dirty faster. You also becomes dirty when you operate on one energy at all times. So you used to operate on energy of water, and that's what all you're running on. Not good. You need to develop all energies. Also happens when the energy is not dominant for your body. It's not natural for your body. So like you're a woman and your dominant energy is energy of fire. It will be prone to becoming dirty more often than you think. Or if you are a man and you have energy of water, every man with dominant energy of water, always dirty energy. Always. Those people just don't know how to keep it clean. And only those who go to the gym, I mean, their energy somewhat clean. And sometimes planets, they are blocking, like Saturn or Pluto, they're blocking, or there is some kind of squares that are blocking your planet, um, your your personal planets. Observe that. That could be important, like for example, Mars, and as I said, Mars in Aries should, you would not want, like, it's a really good placement for Mars, it's in its home, in a fire sign. I mean, the masculinity, like pure masculinity, and then there is like Saturn blocking it or something, or opposite to Pluto, or maybe you have it, or something else, and that's it. You basically, your own fire is already damaged there. Well, when you were born. um like right now, Saturn is in Aries. So Mars is going to get into Aries. All these kids that will be born with Mars in Aries, Sun in Aries, and Saturn right there, and Neptune is there. These are all will be kids with basically with dirty fire energy. It would be, yeah, because they will have Sun there, Mars there, and Saturn right there, sitting blocking them, and damaging. So this is what it is. My grandfather had like this. He had a lot of energy of air, and he had Saturn blocking his Mars and Sun, and he had certain achievements in his life, but he would have achieved much more if he wouldn't have Saturn over there blocking him, and he was a little bit like not very airy, an air person is not afraid of nothing, but he was, I couldn't say cowardice because it wasn't really like that, but he was afraid about certain things. He was afraid to try something new again because of the Saturn over there. So you never know how it will play out, but this could be reason. Look at your natal chart. Don't blame yourself if maybe this is what's happening in your natal chart. But again, you still have the responsibility to keep it clean. All right. So how to fix it? You need to find out what's your dominant energy. Find out whether you have that problem first. It takes time. You need to work on overall energy. Then you need to develop the other three energies. So if your dirty energy is water, focus on the other three energies right away. Like me, when I feel my energy is dirty, this is what I do. I focus on other three. I said, first of all, I tell myself, you're safe. I ground myself. I go for a walk on the beach. I sit on the beach. I ground myself because I live on the seventh floor. It's like I never really touch the ground, much. So first of all, I ground myself. Then what I do some kind of actions. I go somewhere. I do something, something different. So, and the energy of air, obviously, I try something new. I try to speak with somebody new, or I read some kind of a book that I never read, something. So research something. So this is how it's working. You will never clean your energy without using other energies. It's impossible. So don't try to kind of to skip this step. And that's it. I Let me know how it will go. If you think that your energy is not dirty and never was dirty, you're mistaken. It happens to everybody. Every single person has a dirty, somewhat dirty energy at one time, at certain times of their life, for sure. It's up to you. Is it going to be constant, or are you going to change it? And just sometimes, like I said, sometimes maybe when you are pregnant, or when you're sick, or when you go through like a breakup, or maybe you go through some stressful time at your career, it happens, but just make sure it doesn't become a habit. Yeah, it happened for maybe a month, 2 months, but not for years, for decades. It shouldn't be like that. Yeah. The people around you will not tolerate you if you will not put yourself together. You will not tolerate yourself. You will not put yourself together. So I hope it made it clear. I made it clear. There is no confusions because I do get some questions, and people like, well, do you think this is dirty energy or this is not dirty energy? I'm like, no, this is not. Because sometimes people believe that dirty energy is the energy that is not developed, the weak, Like, for example, if I don't have any energy of air and I'm afraid to try something new, this is not dirty energy of air. This is non-existent energy of air. Dirty would be if I would be like, that's it, I'm like I'm only talking to different people. I'm not visiting the same countries I already been to. I'm only visiting new countries. Like I'm not. I don't want to work or do this. This would be dirty. But when you are afraid to do something, I mean, this is non-existent energy affair. So I hope it was clear. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what's your dominant energy. What do you think? Do you have the dirty, with it dirty or not? Again, it's not the end of the world. You can live with it. But I would want you to live a really good life, fulfilling life. I don't want you to miss on life just because you don't know how to involve other energies into your life. That's all. It's not that hard, really. It takes a little effort, but not that hard. All right, that's it. TikTok, thank you for being here with me. I will see you next Sunday at 11. Bye, everybody. And by YouTube, thank you for being here with me. New moon is going to be on Wednesday, I think, Wednesday evening. On new moon in Pisces, 29 degrees. So again, we're ending some kind of chapter. And on the 20th, Mercury is going direct. So thanks God, because this kind of blurry um, Piscean energy is starting getting into me. So I'm kind of happy, and I hope you also. All right, thank you, everybody, and I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.